Hey guys, it's Ryan with MyListing Club. In this next video of the educational series for how to build an online business with the MyListing WordPress theme, we're going to be looking at the website column of our MyListing project template. Let me quickly show you how you can get your hands on this template from the MyListing Club website. Go to mylisting.club and you scroll down, and then towards the top half you'll see a MyListing project template card. Click on that. This is going to walk you through what this template is all about. I'm not going to go into detail what this is all about in this video because you're going to see it firsthand as we go along. But this is available as a one-off purchase. It pays for itself within the first few minutes. It's very inexpensively priced, and that is for a reason, so a lot of people can get their hands on it. If you purchase a starter site, it's included. If you are on my care plan, it's included. What else? There's another one. Care plans, starter site. Oh, and Ultimate members can download this as many times as they want as well. Okay, so those are the ways you get your hands on it. Let me go ahead and move this tab away, and we'll go ahead and get into the template. In the previous video, we knocked out the far left column, which was the business side of things. So I went ahead and got rid of that column before this video started. And as I'll keep mentioning, what we do in this is we work top down, left to right. Everything here is in a particular order, helping you from beginning to end, okay? So the first item on our list for the website side of things is Cloudflare CDN. So what this is a service that sits at the perimeter of your network, keeping the bad guys outside of your core infrastructure, whether it's the server or your website itself or other solutions underneath there, sitting on your internal framework. The service also has optimization benefits as well, whether it's features that apply those optimization features, or by using security to keep bad things off of your site, like bots, which in turn increases the performance. So it kind of goes at it two different ways. I throw Cloudflare on every website, so that's why it's at the top of this list. It's the very first thing that I do is set up Cloudflare. It's the fastest DNS in the world. That if that isn't enough for you, right, then I don't know what is, but it's the fastest DNS in the world. Easy to manage all of your DNS in one centralized location. Like I said, the performance benefits, the security benefits, it's just a no-brainer to set this up. There have been arguments in the past about I don't need a CDN because I'm serving my hometown. I don't believe in that. I think Cloudflare or CDN should be, especially Cloudflare, should be thrown on your website regardless of the region. So I guess that's up for debate, but I've installed it on hundreds of sites and it's just been great. So but definitely check that out, and we're going to run through that process right now. My preferred hosting vendor for MyListing websites and any WordPress website is Kinsta, and they have, within the past few months, they partnered with Cloudflare. So the fact that Kinsta trusts Cloudflare that much, and vice versa, it just speaks volumes. These two working together is just an amazing thing. So you really should check it out. This card has a guide right here that I wrote, so you can set it up for yourself. But we're gonna go ahead and set it up here in this video as well. Yeah. So I've here in another tab. I'm already logged into my account. You see up here, my listing club. So I don't need to go through the process of the initial sign up and whatnot. What we are going to do, though, is set up a new website for use in here, okay? The difference, though, is that because the MyListing Club account already exists, it's not going to be an apples to apples setup of what you would see if you followed my guide. So some of it, let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this initial setup is what we're not going to be able to cover in this video because it's already done. You just sign up for a free account, enter your domain name, that sort of thing, and then it goes into optimal settings for MyListing. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to replace this entire initial setup section with just setting up the DNS part, and then we'll move on through the rest of this guide. Okay, so let's let's go ahead and jump over to the next card, and then we'll swing back because they kind of go hand in hand here. So the website hosting, like I said, Kinsta is my recommendation. If you want to go and purchase Kinsta on your own and not go through the club, I'm not sure why you would ever want to do that. Maybe you don't like saving money and you don't like more performance for less money. I don't know. But if you want to still go direct through Kinsta, you can go through that link. I give you my link there. If you want to go through the club, you can save up to 50% depending on your membership level. But even if you're not a member, you still save money. So I would definitely check that out. And then there's a guide here that I wrote that you can check out. But let's just pretend, we've signed up for Kinsta on the club's plan, and we're ready to install our site. So we're gonna jump over here into Kinsta. 98% of this is what you would see. The only thing that you're not going to see is things related to managing the account itself, which makes sense from a security standpoint. Obviously, you don't want somebody looking at your site. They don't want you looking at their site. They don't want you to be able to change their DNS and that sort of thing. So there's like a couple minor components that you can't get at just as being a customer on the club's plan, okay? You're not missing out on anything. The DNS is going to be done on Cloudflare anyway, so that piece doesn't matter. There's just no reason to not go with this. I just can't drive that home enough. People often say, what am I not going to get? You're going to get it all, okay? So that's, get off my soapbox there. So let's go ahead and we're going to click here to add our first site. And we're just going to choose to install WordPress. And we're going to do a fictitious company. We're just going to call this Fit Pro. We're going to choose the data center that's closest to me just because, and click continue. Again, the site name is Fit Pro. I'm going to put in an account here for the admin. The language we're going to select is just English for this video, and we know it's a MyListing site. It requires WooCommerce. You can rip out WooCommerce. That's a discussion for another day. It's not even, we're not even going to go into that, but just you need WooCommerce. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to go ahead and install WooCommerce as part of this. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We're not going to do that because I want you to see the full MyListing experience. So let's not put that on there for now. It'll also save the time of spinning up this server. It'll spin up a little bit faster. All right, while that's doing that, let's see what we can talk about while this is doing that. Let's go back to this project template and see if there's anything that we can cover. I don't think. Let's look at, yeah, we can knock some of this down. So WordPress admin accounts, this is just saying ensure that you're handing out a limited number of admin accounts. Obviously, if somebody's doing maintenance or website care, like if you hire me, for example, I need an account to do that. You just don't want to go out and hand off admin accounts left and right because it's a potential security risk. Just give it out to the people that absolutely need it and those that you trust, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll start getting rid of some of these while we wait for the server to spin up. Editorial account. This is talking about creating an account with the editorial, the WordPress calls editor. So the WordPress editor account. So you're going to want to go in there and set that up. If you're going to have people writing blogs and things like that, I typically recommend, like, let's just say you're a one-man show, right? And you've got your admin account, but you don't necessarily need that. Like maybe for security, you want to create an editor account. So that's what you log in with to do your posts and stuff like that. You don't need to do it, but I've seen that done that way, where they just kind of set aside their admin account for just when they absolutely need to admin stuff. And they use their editor account, and use other solutions to keep their dashboard really clean and just have the things needed to post and edit posts and pages and things of that nature. So there's an argument for both ways. But if you want to do that, let's just walk you through how to set that up as a little checklist, okay? We'll go ahead and get rid of this one. we'll see how our site is doing here. Still spinning up, so let's go back over here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and, well, we can cover transactional email here. So transactional email is the password resets, the order information, anytime someone posts a review that you need to moderate. Those are all what's considered transactional emails. My listing websites are really heavy into transactional emails. There's just so many aspects of a MyListing site that require this. So this task just runs you through my recommended solution for transactional email only. Now, there are other solutions out there that do a combination of email marketing and transactional email. So you can use whatever works for you, but here's a guide for using Sendinblue, and it's free. I mean, you may not ever have to need anything but the free version. So definitely check that out. It keeps the emails out of the spam folders, the junk folders, and it ensures that when someone requests a reset, or more importantly, they want their order information, confirmation, whatever, you want to make sure that that gets to them. With Sendinblue, for example, it's just really easy to set up and ensures that delivery, gives you a nice log tracking and things of that nature. So regardless of the solution you use, you just want to make sure you get that set up and not rely on the host. Keensta will provide you transactional email, but it is not something you should rely on long term. They put it there as more of a courtesy, but they will tell you if it's being abused, and it's pretty easy to abuse it. So I just wouldn't use it, because I want you guys to be able to ensure your emails are getting delivered. Don't rely on Keensta for that. It's not their job to deliver email, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll get rid of this. Actually, no, we'll leave that in there. I talked about it, but I'll show you how to implement it as we go along. All right, so we now have our site created. We're going to click on Manage Domains. All right, so we see here that Keensta gives us a temporary domain, and we're just going to go ahead and add a new one. So we call this FitPro, so we'll call it fitpro.mylisting.club. And the reason we're doing this is we're creating a subdomain off of the MyListing Club domain. Okay, so if you've seen any of my starter sites, so let's look at Val, for example, that's exactly how that's done. Val.mylisting.club. It's just the subdomain off the main domain. So we punch that in. Yeah, you're going to just leave those. That's perfect. So just leave the advanced options alone. We'll click Add Domain. Takes a few seconds here to get this to kick back to us with the DNS records that we need. All right, so Keensta is now telling us the records that we need to add to Cloudflare. So we just copy this to our clipboard, and you see here that it says added text records. So jump over to Cloudflare, sorry. We give it DNS. Make sure it's under the company that you're adding it to, right? So we're adding it to the MyListing.club domain. So add record, change this to text record. Paste in what we copied. Let's go back to the Keensta dashboard. We're going to copy this value in, put it right in here into the value. They call it the content on the Cloudflare side. So drop that in and save. Go right back over to Keensta and click OK, I've done it. At this point, what Keensta is going to do is it's just going to go out and verify that you've added the records to Cloudflare, that you are who you say you are. It's right here, domain verification pinning. So that's what that's doing. It's going to kick you back with an email once that's done. We don't need to wait for this. As we see here, the primary domain is already set to our temporary domain, so we can go ahead and do some work while we're waiting on that. Real quickly, I'm going to run through some of the items here with the backups. You automatically get the 5 manual backups. You can delete those on demand, create them, delete them, but you get up to 5. That's really nice. Keista's going to create a backup for you depending on certain situations. You don't need to do anything there. It's automated. If you want to do external backups, you can do that. There's a small price associated with that, not much, but you can. You can also download backups as often as you want and store them on your computer. So that's really nice. Hourly backups come with a pretty heavy cost. You see here, actually, yes, hourly is $100 a month. So it's way more than, even the 6 hour, way more than the hosting. For this, I recommend WP Umbrella and the club. I just recently partnered with these guys to help you guys get a discount, but it's very inexpensive. So for as low as, I think it's like, I don't know what it is, $2 a month or even under that. I think it's under that. You can back up your site every hour for $2 a month or less. So with our sites being WooCommerce sites with orders coming in and everything, it is just super, super important that you get those hourly backups in there in case something goes wrong. You know, your other options are you've got a 24-hour backup or whatever, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you have a plugin installed. We'll get into that. But as far as Keista goes, awesome backup system that they have here, out of the box, ready to go for you. Moving over to tools, there's not a lot you need to do here to get your site off the ground. One of the things I recommend doing right to start is upping the PHP engine to the highest version possible that won't break anything on your site. I'm going to go ahead and up this to PHP 8.1. With 8.0, there was a slight increase in performance over 7.4, but with 8.1, it's the difference was really significant. So my listing is fine under PHP 8.1 whatever, but the thing to be aware of is that the plugins you have may not be all compatible with 8.1. So you just need to find that out and make sure all of your solutions will work under whatever PHP version that you select. So while we wait for that to spin up to keep going, we will move over. There's nothing you need to do with redirects at this point. If you do need to do any kind of a redirect, maybe like you delete a page or something or a post, you need to do a redirect. I recommend doing it here at the Keista, the server level, and not using a plugin, and that's for performance reasons. So this takes care of it all at off your website on the server level, so it makes it much faster and more efficient. So again, if you have a redirect to do, try to do it at the Keista level. Not much we need to see. This just shows you which plugins and themes you've got installed and if they need updates and whatnot. We'll skip all that. By default, your site's going to be enabled with Keista CDN. Like I said, Keista partnered with Cloudflare. So what they're trying to do is give you all the bells and whistles that they can of the Cloudflare Enterprise plan and making it easier for you to configure. But the downside to that at the point of this recording is that you don't really have control over a lot of things that you would by having a full-blown Cloudflare account like we already have. So what I recommend here is disabling. There may be a time in the future where enabling this makes sense, but right now, to me, it does not. If you are not comfortable and don't want to work on the Cloudflare side of things as far as performance and all that, by all means, enable this. Then definitely enable this on the Keista side. Okay? Just be aware that the limitations are there. Let's see here. Keista APM. Edge caching is a beta feature that's only available to certain people. I have it in my account because I signed up to test things in beta, so that's something exciting that's coming. Keista APM is a way for you to test the performance of your site. A really, really powerful tool. A really nerdy, geeky tool. If you really like getting into that stuff, you can get in and see what is slowing down your site, which pages are the slowest, and so on, what activity is going on. Users, just what it says, you can see the users on your site. Activity, You can see all the activity going on your site, who logged in and when, and all that kind of thing. And then the logs. Are there any errors? Anything going on with the keys to cache? Who's accessing your site and when? Those sorts of things. Okay, let's go back here and see. So I don't know if I have an email yet for this. Let me pull up my email account. All right, nothing yet, but I know what. Oh, there we go. So we've got. Let's see what this is telling us. Yeah, we can ignore this for now. So I don't think it's ready to give. Oh, it is. Okay, so it's ready to give us our other records. So we'll go ahead and punch these in. So same process. Text record. The email just came through as I was doing that. All right, so there's the text record. Drop that in. Drop that in, save. I'm just going to work our way through these. We only got 2 this round. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Let me go back and copy that. Oh, that was right. So you can just use the @ symbol too. When it's the actual name of the host, you can use the @ symbol. That was my bad. So you can actually use the @ symbol if you want. Paste, save. All right, so we've got those records in there. Now we're going to say, okay, I've done it. And it's going to do another round of verification. While it's doing that, let's go ahead and look back at our template here. So we're at the Cloudflare CDN stage. We're still working through that, so we'll keep this card open. The website hosting, we're in process there. That's cool. And then next we'll be up at the SSL comes after we've got the these other 2 cards ready to go. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about, while this is spinning up, we'll talk about staging. So if you go over here under domains, you will see this is live environment. If you click this drop down, you can click create new environment. And this is not an apples to apples thing. Again, this is a beta thing that I'm able to see. What's coming in the very near future is a really new, robust staging feature. So this is the one that you will see right now. I think. Yeah. This is what I'm seeing. It's unique because I signed it, like I said, for the beta. So you'll see something different. Basically, when you come in here to your account, since you're not on the beta or likely not on it, you just, at a couple clicks of a button, you're going to be able to create a staging site, okay? Super easy to do with Keensta. Really easy to bounce back and forth between the 2, to push changes between the 2. What I like to do is test everything in staging, but instead of pushing everything to live, I just replicate it on live. So if I like a plugin that I've tested on staging or a setting, I'll just go replicate that on the live site. That's how I do it. With this new staging that's coming, I believe it'll be enticing to push changes from staging to live, like at a more granular level. So we'll look at that in the future and see how that works. But that's how I do it for now. It seems to work great. Works great for me. What could we do here in the meantime? Let me see here. Let's go ahead and we'll just get rid of staging. Let's go ahead and go into, because I know, let's just go ahead and go into this. So, like I said, we're on the temporary domain, but we can go ahead and do our work, and I'll show you how to make the new domain the primary domain. So we'll go ahead and click on this Open WordPress Admin link. Okay, so there's our clean install of WordPress. And we are ready to rock on that side. As you see up here in the top left, we have a not secure. That's because we have not added our SSL at this point. And it's obviously not our live domain. I'm going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and get our live domain going here. So I'll go ahead and close the website down. We know we have access. So I'm going to go ahead and set this as my primary. What this is going to do, you want to check this box. It's going to run through all of your URLs, and it's going to change them from the temporary domain to your live domain. Okay, so just go ahead and run that. Check that box, run that. It's pretty seamless stuff. It goes pretty quick, especially because it's a brand new site. All right, so just that fast, we've flipped over to our live domain. Now, if we go back and click on this link, Open WordPress Admin, we see that it doesn't go anywhere. That's because the domain's not actually, the DNS isn't actually live yet. So there's not a whole lot we can do. That's why you sometimes want to work off the temporary domain. You could work off the temporary domain and go through this card, set up the WordPress general settings, reading settings, discussion. You can go through all of that stuff, and then once your domain, your DNS is ready to go, you flip it over to the live. All those URLs are automatically rewritten, as I just showed you, and off you go. So that's a way that you can definitely do it. Sometimes people will, even myself, I will work off the temporary domain for a long time, and then eventually flip over to the live. So the sooner you do it, it's typically the better. It just depends on the situation. All right, so we're still in pending here. Let's go ahead and look at our card while this is going. See if there's anything else that we can talk about. There's really not, because I kind of want to show you all of this as we go along. So maybe what we'll do here is let's just go ahead and we'll flip. We're putting Kingston to the test here. Let's go ahead and make our temporary back to our primary, just so we can continue our work here. All right, we're going to go click on Open WordPress Admin so we can continue here. There we go. Not sure. Probably wasn't finished yet. All right, so let's go ahead and run through some of these cards. Let's look at the WordPress general settings. This is just saying set your site title, your tagline, including some of your keywords, updating the URL of your site so it uses HTTPS, set the site language and the time zone. So really simple stuff. So that's found under your WordPress dashboard, under settings, and then as the card says, general. So everything that I have in that card is found under this area, okay? So this is where you will change all of that. I recommend setting the time zone to be your actual time zone rather than these UTC values. This all looks good, so on and so forth. So that's it. Pretty basic stuff. If you've ever set up a WordPress site before, this stuff is, probably second nature to you. So we'll go ahead and consider this one done. Reading settings, moving on down. So this is everything that's found under the next area. So settings and then reading. And this card walks you through set your home page to a static page. We'll make this home. So actually, before you can even do that, we got to do the initial pages. So I could rearrange this a little bit. So let's go ahead and, as this says here, create a new page called home and publish it. Okay, so we've done that. Let's go back to refresh our reading settings. And we set this to home. And these settings here, I mean, this is really your preference if you want to play with it. You set it to whatever you want it to be there. So let's go back to our reading settings. I use 9 on mine. I've seen just different cases where it works differently depending on what you want to do with your own site, what you want to display. I do 9. I like the 3 rows of 3. So do what you need. Excuse me. Do what you need to do there and what to do there. Yeah, and then this other one here, post page. If you set this, so let's go here. Let's do another page. Call this one blog. Publish. Let's refresh our reading settings here. So static page you want to set to home. If you set the static post page to the blog, this is going to default to the MyListing blog template. I don't like it. I think I don't like it. It's super basic. I just don't like the design. I don't recommend that anybody uses it. And I instead recommend that you use Elementor Pro to design your blog templates and a lot of your other templates. So I would not set this setting here. Okay, I would leave it like that. And we want to go ahead and tick this box to discourage search engines from seeing our site. We'll also do this in the coming soon mode too, but we can go ahead and tick this box so search engines can't start to pull our information, index our information. All right, looking back at that readings task card, we've done the home page, we've covered the blog part, we've done the how many blogs post to show and the feeds and whatnot. Yeah, so it really depends on your setup. So let's go ahead and consider this task card done. Moving on to the discussion settings. MyListing uses the discussion area of WordPress for its reviews. So this is a really important section. Again, all of this depends on your MyListing site, but this could be a very important section for yours. And this is a checklist again of what to put in here. This stuff isn't important for the purposes of this video to demonstrate it. You'll just run through this checklist and put that stuff in. So let's go ahead and consider this done. WordPress permalinks, this is an important one. So this is found under settings, permalinks. What you want to do is set this to post name and save. Pretty easy stuff. All right, looking at the initial pages, we've included a home page and published it, and a blog and published it. Delete any and all default pages included with WordPress and empty the trash. So this is just saying if there's any random pages that were installed, delete them. We can leave privacy policy. We can get rid of sample page. Okay, so that's good. Next up is initial posts. This is just saying delete any initial posts in there, just like we did with the pages. Post categories. What I'm saying here is to rename the uncategorized category to an actual category that you will use on your website. So going under posts and then categories, we see that it's uncategorized. So we're under fitness, so let's just call it, let's see, what would we write about? I guess we'll put gems. We'll put gems for now. Actually, you know what? We'll do this. This is a common thing. Set it to the actual name of your site. So that way, if you're writing blog articles that have to do with your actual business, that works really nice too. What's really good about this one too is that you may not have thought about your categories for your posts quite yet. So this is a quick way to remember to get that uncategorized category renamed. Add any additional categories as desired. So we'll consider this one done. Post tags. Same concept, add tags as desired. We may do that as we go along. We may not need to. All right, site favicon or site icon, depending on how you want to call it. I've got a guide for how to set this up the right way. I'll let you read that guide to see what I mean by that. Another thing people might do is they'll just go out there and create a 512 pixel by 512 pixel ping image or SVG or whatever and drop that in as the site icon. So let me go ahead and show you, see if I can do this. Not sure, let's see. Not sure I have an app on my computer to do this. Failure on my part. Here, I know what I'll do. Let's do this. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing here. So let's go to Resources. I'm just going to do a screenshot of the logo here. Opening an image editor app on my computer here. So I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do is just save this. See what size we got here. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and do the canvas size. Let's do this 512 by 512. Put the image in the center. All right, good enough for the purposes of this video. Let's call this, there we go. Call this MyListing Favicon. Now, before you upload this, you want to run this through some image optimization. Before you upload any images to your site, you want to upload it through some image optimization software. There's tons of them out there. Squish is one that I use. So we're just going to drop our image in here. And we're going to go ahead and download this as browser ping. That actually added weight to our file, so the file's pretty lightweight as it is. But you can do WebP or whatever. Just be aware that not all browsers support WebP yet. Keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and just drop this down as a JPEG for the purposes of this video. Get rid of this. All right, so we're going to jump back over to our site, and we're going to go under, where are we at here? Appearance. Oh, we don't have a theme in there, so it won't let us. That's funny. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's see now how we are doing with our domain verification. No word just yet, so we'll go ahead and continue on with this temporary domain. All right, what else can we do here? We'll leave the favicon part in there. Primary navigation. So this is just walk you through the steps for setting that up. So for that, we go under appearance. Oh, we got to get the theme in there. All right, let's go ahead and skip the line here. This is. All right. We'll go ahead and get the theme installed. It's coming up. I'll have to rearrange these. So yeah. So next up is we're gonna get the MyListing theme in here. Okay. A little off script, but nobody's perfect, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna jump over into appearance and themes, and we're gonna click add theme. We're gonna upload a theme. We're going to browse to our MyListing theme files. install, and activate. All right, so now we have MyListing in there. Let's go ahead and look back at that card here. So we've installed the theme, the latest version. Now we want to remove all themes except for the MyListing parent theme. This is if you're an advanced user. So the reason why I say that is because once you get down to nothing but the MyListing theme and you get rid of these other 3 WordPress themes, if something were to go wrong, you need to FTP into your site, using an application like FileZilla and get into the files from the back end. If you have another theme installed and there are issues, you can switch over to that theme temporarily and get access that way. Okay, so again, this is more for advanced users, but it's what I do. I get in there. At a minimum, I would delete all of the themes, the other WordPress themes, except for the very latest WordPress theme. So if you're not an advanced user, this is how I recommend you doing it. You have the latest parent theme from MyListing, and then you have the latest theme from WordPress in there. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and even take this further, and I'm gonna delete this theme. Okay, so that satisfies our WordPress parent theme card. Let's go ahead and knock out the child theme while we're at it here. I have a guide for this, how and when to install a MyListing child theme. With the advancements of code snippets plugins here recently, this has changed a little bit. So before I would say, yeah, just go install the MyListing child theme. Just there's no reason not to get it in there. I've changed my stance on this, and I'm basically saying the only time you need to install the child theme is if you are manually adding files that do not exist. And in this guide, I walk through exactly what I mean by that. So chances are, for most of you out there, you can skip the WordPress child theme step. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. But word of caution though, if you go in here, right now we just have the parent theme. If you were to go in here to the theme file editor, you should never do this anyway. Like, unless you really know what you're doing, you could break things. I would not go in here. But let's just say you or somebody you hired went in here into the themes functions file, functions.php, and made changes, and you break something, then your only recourse most likely is to go in through FTP. And by that time, it could be super embarrassing. Your site's been down for a while, and all that stuff. But I'll basically say if anybody recommends that you edit your functions PHP file, I would probably push back on them. I would push back on them and say it's just not the right thing to recommend. We'll get into all that later as we go along in this video series. But I'm gonna go ahead and click the back button here and get back here. So let's go ahead and got rid of that plugin. We can now go back, circle back, and do our favicon. So let's go under. Let's go under Appearance and then Customize. I'm gonna right click on Customize so the customizer opens up in a new window. It's just easier that way. We're gonna click on Site Identity, and we're gonna click on Select Site Icon and upload that favicon that we had created. Okay, and click Publish. So now once you see that, so here's the previous tab. You see it, this looks like a piece of paper. And then on this, once our favicon is added, obviously this is the favicon that we would want ultimately, but you see that the tab has your little favicon on there, okay? So that's what we've done there. Go ahead and, we'll go ahead and get rid of this card. All right, let's circle back to primary navigation menu. So for this, we go under the Dashboard, Appearance, and Menus. Dashboard, Appearance, and Menus. We want to create a new menu. We'll just call it Primary. And we'll select Primary Menu under the menu settings. and we'll go ahead and we will add our home page, and we'll just add our home page for now. So click home and click add to new, or add to menu, sorry, and click save menu. So now when we look at the front end of our site, we see that we have that primary menu. So we've only added our home page, and there it is. Okay, let's go back to our template, and yep, we've satisfied that. We'll go ahead and delete this. Next up is WordPress plugins. Very important here. I like to emphasize starting day one. It's very tempting. I see it all the time. People just go out and start installing plugin after plugin after plugin on their live site, and then if they then decide they don't want to use some of those plugins, then they rip them out. But what they don't understand is that it's already made changes to your database. When you remove those plugins, they don't always clean up after themselves, and it just clutters the database. And it can also hurt the performance of your site by loading things that don't need to load anymore. So I just really caution people to just don't go out there and start installing plugins. Do it on your staging site first. Okay, so I'll get off my soapbox there. The first subtask here is to remove any plugins that were installed by default that are not needed. So let's go to your plugins. I prefer Clean Talk for anti-spam, and we don't need Hello Dolly, so right off the bat, I just would get rid of both of these. Okay, those are gone. So we've satisfied that. Install and activate any non-MyListing core plugins that you need to get started with your website build. So there is, yeah, we're going to cover that actually in the next one I see here. So I won't do that in this video just yet, but it's basically just saying anything that has nothing to do with MyListing, like specifically, you can go ahead and install those here if you know you absolutely are going to use them and you need them. Again, if you don't know yet, don't do it or test on staging. Okay? All right, next up is the MyListing core plugins. So for this, we're going to jump back to our dashboard, and you're going to see this notice at the top of the screen here. And it's what they're wanting you to do is install Elementor and WooCommerce. Those are absolutely required for the theme. Again, an argument can be made to rip out WooCommerce. I just wouldn't recommend it for most people. I've actually never heard of anybody successfully doing it without putting in a ton of work and breaking a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't even entertain it if it was me. But you can click on Begin Installing Plugins here. It's going to automatically bring up this box where you can choose Elementor and WooCommerce. I would skip Contact Form 7 for now. So bulk actions, install, apply. Now, if you cannot get your hands on Elementor Pro, if it's out of your price range, then you can definitely go for Contact Form 7. There are disadvantages to using Contact Form 7, and I outline that in my guide, how to replace Contact Form 7 with Elementor Pro. In my opinion, you should build every MyListing site with Elementor Pro. It's just, I just can't imagine building without it. I mean, you're going to be missing out on so much. You're just going to be missing out on so much. I would just call it cost of doing business, get Elementor Pro on your site, okay? So I'm not, looks like it's still in the process of installing, so just give it some time here. I mean, another thing at this stage, you're kind of at the mercy of Elementor. It's not really a MyListing thing that we're waiting on per se here. It's got to contact the Elementor servers and down, all that stuff. So that could be what the hang up here is, or it could be something else. It typically is immediate though, so this is a little odd. I'm going to roll the dice here and just refresh the page. Alright, so it looks like it got Elementor in there actually. So maybe it was WooCommerce that it was working on. So I'm going to go back here and install WooCommerce. Okay, so that's done. For now, we're gonna yeah. I did not want to get into this yet, so let me just click back here. All right, so we got the 2 plugins that are absolutely required, so that's good. I'm gonna click on dismiss notice because we're gonna do Elementor Pro and not contact form 7. So dismiss that notice. All right, so let's go back to our card here. And like I said, I have a link to the guide to replace contact form 7. And all right, we've satisfied everything in this card. Let's see how we are doing with the hosting now. I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice on this too. I'm going to flip over, make this my primary again. And we'll see if we're ready to go here. Okay, let's close down those. Okay, let's click on this link again and see if we're good to go. Open WordPress admin. Still not good to go there. DNS should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and force the issue here. This is a little workaround. So I know what needs to be on there. Let's see. So hosting.kinsta.cloud is the key. So let me find where it is. We're just going to go ahead and add a CNAME record to this. Kinsta will eventually give you these CNAME records, but I know what to put in there, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So fitpro.this. Okay, I'm going to add another one for the www version. Okay, again, Kinsta would have given you these 2 records, but I know that that's what they're going to look for, so I just went ahead and put those in. All right, now let's go ahead and flip back over to Kinsta and see what we got. There we go. So that is good to go. Let's jump back over into Kinsta. And let's go to back to our tools. And I believe this is in the card. Let's go back here. Website hosting. All right, we can pretty much mark this good to go. The SSL was in a different card, which is good. So this just tells you what to do here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a link here. Walks you through how to set that up on Kinsta, so you'll just follow that guide. But all you do is just go here and click this force HTTPS, and you're going to tick this top box to force all traffic to the primary domain, and click force HTTPS. So that's going to get our SSL in place. While that's doing that, I'm going to delete this SSL card. Okay, that's there. So now we see that We no longer have that non-secure error. We see the lock, so we're good with SSL. We are on our live domain. As we see here, all of that looks good. And then everything under general needs to be set to HTTPS. So we do that. It's going to make us log out and log back in one more time. And I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but it's all in the cards. Like just setting that, like I just set there. That's all in task cards of the template. So don't worry about that. I'm just jumping around a little bit here. Okay, we now have our site, our foundation, the WordPress, ready to go with the theme, core plugins. We're in a great position. Cloudflare. Like I said, there is a guide for that. We don't need to get into all the weeds of that in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this card. It's doing what we need it to do here. I'm not sure what's going on with it. There we go. So I'm going to delete this card. And I think this is a good stopping point for us. We've gone on for a while here. Because the next part starts getting into typography and things like that, fonts and colors and branding and whatnot. But I think this is a good place to start. Now, if this were a real situation, obviously people can get to your site and see that there's nothing there, and that's not necessarily a good thing. If they don't know about it, they're probably never going to stumble upon it. You're already blocking the search engines. But if you want to take it a step further and you're on Keensta, you can use the tools section and assign a password. So this right here, you can assign a password so only you can see the front end of your site. That's a quick way to do in air quotes, a coming soon page without doing a full-blown coming soon page. Okay? Obviously, if you have this template or you know how to do this already, you can just jump down to the coming soon mode and knock out these next 4 cards and then call it a day and get like a real coming soon out there. It just depends on what you want to do. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to stop here because I think this is just a great place. We've got the foundation, our CDN, our server, and WordPress, our plugins and themes. This is a good spot to be in. All right, guys. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. If for no other reason, to just know when the next video of the series comes out. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.